But I had a fun side thing with Miss Hardy. I never will forget this. You know, Miss Hardy used to have you come up to her house if you were going to do the lead in any of her songs, and or she'd have a CD or a tape or something for you to practice with. Well, she called me one day and I was out riding my dog in my truck. I had a Rottweiler. She said, stop by and pick up this cassette. And I happened not to be that far away from my house. I said, okay, Miss Hardy, I'm on my way. So I pulled up and I parked about halfway down her driveway and my dog stayed in the truck. And I went in and I picked up the tape. And Miss Hardy walked me back to the porch, and as she looked out the door, she hollered out, hey, Nita. Well, Nita's my wife. And I had to say, Miss Hardy, that's my dog. And we laughed about it up until the day that God took her home.
I'm here today to talk about the wonderful lady in my life, Miss Evelyn Hardy, how she meant so much to me. And I cannot mention her without mentioning Brother Bill Harris. They were both awesome people in my life. As a wonderful mother, sister, friend, Miss Hardy would always call and ask, Brother Ralph, how you doing today? I said, well, I'm doing fine. How are you doing, Queen? I would call her Queen and call her my everything, and we would talk about so many subjects, and she just had a general love for me and all of the other men. I don't know if she had a favorite. If she did, it was a secret, because she shared love with all of these guys, and we all loved her so well. And Brother Bill, as he directed and guided us through so many changes and the music, you know, the unexpectedness of a run, and it just helped us to continue to stay focused on what we had to do.
One of the most important things in my life was knowing her since I was a boy. Who am I referring to? Evelyn Starks, Beatrice Hardy, my neighbor. Never would have thought I'd be a part of the male chorus of 6th Avenue Baptist Church, of which she was the arranger. Having known about her being a member of the Gospel Harmonettes many years ago, it was an incentive and a motivation. I got a chance to sing all around the world because of Miss Hardy and her inspiration for me. When I think about her, I think of a lot of things. One, she was a classy lady, passionate about what she did, professional in her performances, and always a fashion plate. Never would see her when she wasn't sharp, even at home in a casual setting. She inspired me, and I will be forever grateful. Bill Harris was like a brother. My mother taught him when he was at elementary school at Tupper School, and I've known him since I was a little fella. I always been inspired by him as well. I want to thank them for all they did to help nurture me and get me started on my way.
I met Miss Hardy back in 1976, and at the time I joined the Sanctuary Choir. She said, why don't you come and join the male chorus? And so I decided I would. Being a young man at the time, I was a lover of music, and I could see she loved music. And so we got together, and every time I decided I wanted to quit, she wouldn't let me. She called me out and said, you know, we need you. Come on back. Come on back. And because of her, my music ministry flourished, and I thank her so much for what she did for me. As far as Bill Harris is concerned, I met him at Winona High School. He was a band director, and the next thing I know, I saw him singing in the male chorus over here at 6th Avenue. And then shortly after that, Bill became the music director, and he and I got to be really good friends. Every time Bill had a special engagement, he would call me and we would hook up and do music, whether it would be a different program, men's day programs, or singing at churches all over the Birmingham area. Bill loved music and Mrs. Hardy loved music. So I called them the dynamic duo. You heard of Batman and Robin? Well, it was Evelyn Hardy and Bill Harris, the dynamic duo. We sang at city stages. We sang in Houston, Texas, and all over the United States, North Carolina, you name it. She just exemplified class, beauty, and elegance. And the thing I remember about her most, we got our tie sets based on what she wore. If she had a sharp outfit, then we had to get the tie set to match. And so that will forever stay with me. She was the sharpest lady in Birmingham.
A memorable time I can think of was when I was invited to Mrs. Hardy's house. And we went over a song, and it was a warm, balmy Saturday evening. The funniest thing is I generally have very good confidence in my voice and singing. But that evening, she had me reach a note that was so high, I felt like I was squealing. And we just, every time we thought about that, we just laugh and laugh and laugh. And in regards to Bill Harris, he basically introduced me to community theater, and I really appreciate him for doing that.
One thing that I remember most, I was at her house to sing one song. That was a song that I had heard in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania on Easter Sunday, 1970. And that song stuck with me, and it's still one of my favorite songs. But I was at her house, supposed to have been practicing a particular song. I started humming Only What You Do for Christ Will Last. Mm-hmm. She just picked it up and sort of made that one of my signature songs for this church. But I will always cherish the time that we spent with Miss Hardy in her basement going over songs. She worked tirelessly with us and made a very big impact on my life.
When I came back from Tuskegee after graduating in 1974, 75, somewhere in that time frame. And at that time, Miss Gregory Durr White was over the choir. Mm-hmm. And they would ask you to come to the piano to see what your range was. And they would bang out a few notes and see what the range of your singing was. So Miss Hardy said, son, you're going to sing because I know what you can do. And I said, how do you know, Miss Hardy? She said, your mother and I were classmates at Parker High School. So I know what you can do. So you'll have to do better. But to me, Miss Hardy always challenged us to do the very best we could do. And those of us that were here at 6th Avenue to hear Miss Hardy and her sister, Vastella, play together on that organ, it was something to behold. Now, Bill would grab you on the side and Bill would say, listen, you guys can sing better than that. He would challenge you just like Miss Hardy would. So it's very good to have musicians, especially of color, that you respect, that will challenge you and keep.
Because I have had the opportunity to hear so many other individual comments and statements about Mrs. Evelyn Hardy and Bill Harris, I'm going to be a little bit abbreviated. I do want to say about, as far as Mrs. Hardy, one word to describe her in my vocabulary is going to be unforgettable in capital letters. And when it comes to Bill Harris, a musician and a great gentleman that I'll never forget. Thank you so much.
I was asked the question, what kind of impact has Vedrick brought to the church since he's been here with us and working with the male chorus? And 3 words come to mind. Those words are, he's revived, regenerated, and refreshed the male chorus. It's like old wine in new wine skins. The male chorus was doing well, of course, before that, but with his level of worship and his style, he has definitely rejuvenated the male chorus. And the enthusiasm that the men are showing is just obvious. They come with their 3-ring binders, and there's like a new kick in their step when they come. They're excited about learning the new music. And the one word that I would use as it relates to describing Vedrick, it would be energizing. Vedrick Shelby is energizing.